I'm very happy to be here with Peter Holzer, who is an executive coach and mentor, and now we are going to have a short interview together. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so then Mr. Holzer, when we take a look at your career, we see a quite impressive CV, but I would like to ask you if there's anything from the past that you actually regret?
Yes, I do. Just one thing, that I was, on the one hand, following so much my career path and invested so much time in my job, and on the other hand, I was not emotionally clear, because this guy thing, emotions and guys, is not so easy for many of them, at least for me, led to the situation that I had a wife who froze for lonely because I spent too much time with my work, and I'm happy that I'm still with her, so we finally made it to marry, but this time of hurting her I totally regret, and bad thing is I cannot change it, so I try to do my best to be the husband she deserves.
Okay, and now let's take a look at your career. So, since you're a mentor and a coach, how would you describe good leadership?
The question is, who is a leader? And the easiest definition is, a leader is someone people follow voluntarily. So what we need in today's time is strong leaders, and these are people who have the power to answer the question, where do we want to go, and that they are able to be on eye level with people, so not using their power but their character and behavior, so that people want to follow them, and therefore they need to have a good character so that people want to support them and help them on their journey.
So would you say somebody has to be born as a leader, or is it something you can actually learn or develop over time?
If you want to sell my seminars, I would say you can learn it, but as always, I think there are boundaries and limitations. So on the one hand, it's about talents. For example, if you have the ability to communicate with people well, it's supportive. But you can learn it to a specific degree, but at the end you're getting to some boundaries. So I think everybody can use his talent or her talent and try to work out the best version of leadership this person can have. But as always, like in sports, some are better, some are not. But I think as long as the story and the answer to the strongest question, where do you want to go as a leader, if you have an answer for that and an attractive story, it's not so important that you are a perfect leader, because the story and the future is so bright that people want to help you to get there.
Okay, so in our actual economy we have really strong leaders, but why do you think that there are still so many people in managerial positions that face problems when it comes to relying on gut feelings?
I don't agree that we have strong leaders. We have a lot of weak leaders, and leadership is in crisis. Because for me, a weak leader is someone who's obviously weak. For example, the person is not able to make decisions or dealing with difficult, delicate situations, not able to deliver bad messages to people. So this is obviously weak. But on the other hand, we have a lot of power-centric people. You call them psychopaths, and we have many of them in leadership positions. The science says 3 to 4% in comparison to the whole population, where it's only 1%. So even more psychopaths in leadership, and they cover their cold and not existing empathy in something which is called influence. So they use communicational skills to influence people. So these people are dangerous. For example, take Wirecard. The managers, for me, are psychopaths. They had their own agenda and they destroyed the whole company just because they were cheating. So what strong leadership is about is being hard on the issue and fair to people. And it's not about yourself as a leader, it's always about the group. And this is a question of character, but that's difficult to develop.
Okay, thank you for sharing your opinion. So now I already want to ask my last question for today, which is, could you tell us maybe a little bit about the most exciting project you've ever participated in?
Yeah, I was hired not by the executives, but by the employees, which is not usually the case. And it is a company which is very sales oriented, and the CEO cut the provisions of the salespeople. So there were 600 people in the room, and the emotions were so high, and I was hired by them to get the emotions out of the room, so that after that they were able to discuss with their CEO about the situation. Now, when I was sitting there and I heard the people yelling and screaming when they were talking about the CEO who was in the room, it was such a emotional, delicate situation that it was really pushing me to my limits. And I decided to be honest, and I was hacking on the CEO and making funny stories about him, so the whole room was laughing, but the CEO didn't like it. But at the end, 600 people stood up and gave standing ovations, and after that they were able to talk, and they were totally happy that the emotions were out, and they had a nice conversation. Because I told them, now I was making jokes of your CEO, and that's enough. So use the chance to talk with them about the issue and find solutions, because you need to work together to be successful. The bad thing is, for me, being honest in that situation, and that the CEO still didn't book me for another project. But at least I helped.
Okay, thank you very much for this nice interview. It was really a pleasure for me.
For me too.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for guiding me.